What do you need to know about finishing your basement? Well, first and foremost, you want to make sure that your basement is in good shape before you start putting finishing. If there's been a history of water, or if we're concerned about cracks, those are things to take care of before you have sheetrock and other finishes in place that could get damaged in the future. So definitely shore up the foundation and shore up to make sure that it's waterproof before you finish it. Number two, permits. Whether we're looking at a house that already has a finished basement or you're going to finish it yourself, make sure you get proper permitting. When we go to sell the house, I can only market it as finished space if there are permits in place. If they're not in place, oftentimes municipalities will charge an after the fact penalty, so you can still get it permitted after the fact, but it needs to keep up with modern codes. And codes change over time, which is why getting a permit when you do the project ensures that the standard you're held to is the same one when you built the finished space. Examples of things that changed over time are like sprinkler ordinances. In some municipalities, if you improve more than 50% of the square foot of a house, you then have an obligation to install a sprinkler system, which can be costly and hard to do in an existing home. Definitely harder than when it's brand new to begin with. So make sure that those permits are pulled, and so that we don't have penalties that we're passing on in the future. Similarly, if we're looking at a house with finished space, we want to know that the permits were pulled. I said a minute ago that they're going to make you get an after-the-fact permit. Well, if it wasn't done properly, the town or the city could make you rip it out. Now, it's an extreme measure. It does sometimes happen, though. If you don't get the permits in place, the code enforcement officer has the authority to make you redo it. Finally, we have to think about whether or not a finished basement space can technically count as a bedroom for the purpose of fire safety codes as well as marketing your property. That's going to have a lot to do with egress. So we're going to be looking at the size of the windows, where they're located, whether there are doors, direct exits, whether it's daylight basement, or if it's a bulkhead. Those are going to be questions that we look into to make sure that we have the proper egress in case you wanted to market it, call it a bedroom, or use it as a bedroom.